Okay, now that we've talked about the triple bottom line, we've talked about how to make these strategies happen, I want to do a little bit of a segment on those things that you can use as a manager that are external to the company. So we've already spoken, just by way of a review, that there's got to be an internal code of conduct that is relevant to the company that we're in. So if we're in a company where there's only a bunch of men, so I mean, sexual harassment may not be that big an issue. On the other hand, if we're a company with a large mixture of men and women, sexual harassment may be a bigger issue. So we want to be sure that we have gone through whatever code of conduct is necessary and talked about all the issues that are important and come up with policies and clearly and transparently communicated them to people. So in terms of privacy, we've decided, for argument's sake, that we want video cameras everywhere throughout the facility. Everybody's got to know that. Everybody's got to know that the cameras are on at certain times, and that they may or may not be filmed. It's got to be totally transparent. Uh, we've also mentioned that once we've come up with our internal code of conduct, we have to train people, and it's got to come from the top down. Asking the middle managers to be ethical and the upper management or the middle management is unethical, and by that I mean they mistreat the employees, it's just not going to work. People see through that in 2 minutes. You know, a lot of companies spend 20, 30, $40,000 to do these retreats where they bring people to a beautiful resort and they spend a weekend there, and it's a bonding experience with great meals, and everyone has a lovely time, and they have exercises where they catch each other and they begin to trust each other. That's lovely, and then you come back to work on Monday, and your boss starts yelling at you. The whole weekend was thrown out. It's just not going to work. Those are contrived ways of making real behavioral change not necessary. And of course, it doesn't work. Um, as I said, everything is relative, to the individual companies in terms of what type of ethics training you have, how you redefine the consequences and the rewards, and all of these, kind of come together, and they give you a solid base from which you can build an ethical culture in the company. Now, part of ethicizing, that's my word, part of ethicizing a company is certainly the internal work that needs to be done. But sometimes you can strengthen the internal work by connecting it externally. And in the PowerPoints, we've got a number of references to that. So the purpose of connecting externally is, first of all, it provides a flow of ideas easily that you can perhaps internalize in your within the company, and it secondly validates the efforts that you're making, because you suddenly realize, oh, there's other people that are facing these same challenges, and they seem to be dealing with them in exactly the same way that we are. So I'll just mention a few of these that are mentioned in your notes, and you can certainly um, explore many more if you need to. But essentially, what we're trying to do is create support for the work that you've already decided to do. So it's no different than, you're getting counseling. So you've decided to do the work, and the counseling is there to support you. So here are some of the things. There's something called GRI, which is Global Reporting Initiative. And basically, what that is a clearinghouse for companies to report on all the different things that they're doing, different ideas that they've tried and implemented. Some have been successful, some have not been too successful. But you get the ability to hear and read um, the ideas of many other people. And as I said, the warrior concept is you've got a team. Suddenly, these people become a part of your team and they feed you with information that perhaps you can use. It may not have worked for them, it might work for you. So this is a kind of a clearinghouse, this GRI, and you, as I said, you can. It is just a place for you to go and find sometimes even similar companies to you and what they're doing. Now, this is a great idea, and it really attaches a tremendous degree of validation to your efforts, and that is certification. Not all industries have certification. Certification is great. For example, in accounting, we have certification. You can be a CPA, you can be a CA. And the certification in some manufacturing, you have ISO 9005. So all of these certification ideas validate the efforts that you're making within the organization. So you might be able to validate through some kind of certification schemes depending on the type of organization you have. And maybe if there are no certification schemes in your particular industry, you might be able to get together with other members of the industry and create that. Because not only does it create a validation for the employees and the shareholders, but it might even affect the customers if they know that there's an independent standard or certification that your product is being made to. Sometimes it even can open doors for you. If you say, I have this certification, they're interested in talking to you. Otherwise, they don't know what you're selling them. So definitely, you can definitely do that. There is also something called social responsibility investing. That's basically a way to protect investors from people that claim to be socially responsible but are not. So they're looking for, sustainable strategies. Again, if you look at some of the organizations and how they publish their financial statements, they have literally a triple component, detailing and explaining what the strategies are and why they're being done, and how they're meeting with success over time. So that's certainly another idea. Now again, I just want to mention, I don't want to pretend for a moment. I know I've mentioned it before, but it seems relevant here. No company or people are going to be perfect. We are not striving to create systems and processes that someone can look at and say, oh wow, that's perfect. It's never going to happen. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to do unethical things. That's okay. Because if we are working towards being more ethical, then that's way better than we were the day before. So please understand that this is not an all or nothing concept. This is a piece by piece concept and idea. Other things that you can do in terms of stimulating this is to connect the efforts in the company to some type of philanthropy, which resonates with a lot of people. So you might be able to maybe, fund disabled sports or other activities, connect to hospitals. There's so many things that you can discuss amongst your employees, and see what resonates with them. And all of those things support, again, the efforts that you're making, because now, if you're donating 10 cents out of every profit dollar to some camp for children that don't have enough money to go to camp, all your employees know, when I'm shipping that stuff out, and that's $100 $6 shipment. There's $10 going to that camp. So that makes a difference. Of course, it has to be explained and reinforced, but that works. And similarly, you can do sponsorships, you can participate in other ways. It's just you're widening your social circle, you're widening your social media. And these are all positive things that you can definitely do. You can get behind cause-related marketing. I already mentioned that in terms of your sponsorships. So you can do, charities and like the Wish Foundation or Tim Horton Camps, or Lifeline, all different kinds of places that when you connect the company to those efforts, you're connecting components of the company to those efforts, and again, it's effective for you. You can create a foundation within the company that also takes a certain portion of the profits and puts it in there as well, because all of the employees and all of the customers understand this foundation is taking the money that they would spend to buy erasers or pencils or whatever it is you make, and part of it is going to a camp, part of it is going to the disabled, part of it is going to some underprivileged group. So it works in your favor. So that gives you hopefully the kind of strategies, and there's many, many more, obviously, that you can use in terms of pulling everything together. So, we started out taking a look at how companies confronted the difficulties of being ethical, and what happened with Enron, and we talked about ideas of ownership and stewardship, and that stewardship was a sustainable type of strategy, and we just discussed that a little bit. And then we talked about measuring stewardship through this concept called the triple bottom line, and how we bring that into an organization and make it a reality. And we're kind of closing it off with these ideas of using external sources to validate and strengthen all of the internal managerial ideas and policies and processes that we've put in place.